Hello friends, I wish I could say this was an easy video to research for, but I'd have an easier time defending off a bunch of Uruk-hai at the Battle of Helm's Deep. If you have direct experience with the loss of a child, I'd recommend you think twice about watching this. Even GigaChad-based edgelord, the MMA guru, was shocked by this distasteful video and behavior. And that says a lot.
Did you guys see Rigo's last video when he mentioned Mo Usman? Speaking of deep end, that is a bit far. I didn't think he would go through with that.
Who is Rigo, you may ask yourself? I'll introduce you to him now. He initially started his YouTube channel as someone clipping bigger channels like MMA Guru and Jesse on Fire. Eventually he decided to start making his own content, which he copied from Keon Kimura first, Lucas Tracy second, and MMA Guru third. Now he is pretending to be a base man of God, kind of like Zerka.
You have no idea how unstoppable you are when you grab the cross, turn it into a sword. And I swear we're meant to fight, dude. With righteous indignation, we're meant to fight this evil. And what's crazy is, we're boys, we love to fight. It's not a bad thing. Oh, it's fucking awesome. I'm telling you this, man. Food, don't eat it.
Guru distanced himself from Rigo because of his racist and anti-Semitic thoughts, which I'll show you examples of in clips now. After I give this introduction, I'll get into his Mohammad Usman video, and I'll show why he doesn't practice what he preaches.
A video about the Disney Marvel shit. Mexicans love Dragon Ball Z and blacks love Naruto. Yes, blacks love Naruto, man. It's fucking weird. They also love Dragon Ball Z a lot, too. They do. They do.
Another classic slip-up by Rigo, exposing himself again. A chat member refers to black people as quote-unquote blacks, then he continues to say blacks. Obviously he's wrong for that, though he is right about the black community loving Dragon Ball Z. Everyone loves it, I love it, but we don't love it as much as Mexican people do. But now listen to why he thinks black people do like it. He slips up again and his mask falls easily.
I have a black buddy, still a good friend of mine, to be honest. I don't see him as much as I used to in university, but he's very easily entertained. Black people are like super easily impressed by like stuff like.
Solid save there, Rigo. Saying you have a black friend. And did you catch that? He just said black people are easily impressed. That's a weird way to put it. Let's see how he explains this.
Video game and like show stuff. They're like, oh, this is so fucking sick. Like, but they don't stuff that. That's a super white person way of saying stuff. But they'll be like, that's like the fucking. Oh, you what? Like. Look at his hairstyle and shit. They don't even look at it like gay. Like you and us would be like, this is fucking gay. They'd be like, that's super cool with the blonde hair and the Changya shit and stuff. Like they're just easily impressed.
I don't exactly know why he decided to say that black people are easily impressed. I don't know if the nasally low testosterone voice is making me mishear things, or if he likes to let his racist tendencies slip out. Just look at his asymmetrical face. For some reason, the cadence in his voice resembles that of an adolescent that was upset his parents wouldn't let him storm the Capitol. I'll provide some context to the following clip, something he didn't do for Mohammad Usman. He is saying half-breed in reference to mixed-race babies. He is talking about mixed-race babies from the Half-Caste Act in Australia, where mixed-race aboriginals were expelled from aboriginal reserves. Shows you where his head is at calling these people half-breeds.
Actually, like Australia is just straight up like these people are animals and we can just like put them onto anything and do whatever we want with them and rape them. You can just like there's all those half-breed babies in Australia. Can't remember what they call them. There's a name for them. Because they just be raping them and they had no rights. And then these little like half-breed babies popped up.
For those of you who don't know, half-breed is a racist slur for mixed-race people, often used by the alt-right. And here's a clip of him saying he wants to read The International Jew, a known anti-Semitic work by auto manufacturer Henry Ford. He says his friend Trevor Harmon was telling him about it last night, but supposedly he only knows and likes the title.
So there's a book by a man called Henry Ford. Someone in my chat named Trevor Harmon was telling me about it last night. It's called The International Jew or something like that by Henry Ford. I've never heard of it, never even read it before. Or, never read of it, never even heard of it before. So I know Jordan Levitt does his.
After bringing up this anti-Semitic work, he tries to play it off as a joke, saying he wants to read it with Jordan Levitt. He then tries to say he knows nothing about the book outside its title, which conflicts with him saying earlier his friend told him about it. I'm sure Jordan Levitt would be very interested to know what Rigo thinks of mixed-race people, or half-breeds, he would say.
book review channel. I want to do a collab with him and read that. We'll do a book review. Maybe we could do a couple episodes, review it. Have you looked into the book? No, I haven't even read a synopsis. I just like the title. I was gonna say Mike Perry too. They should make Francis the final boss. Have him come out dressed up as Shao Kahn from Mortal Kombat. I don't know who that is.
I know this video isn't about his alt-right tendencies, but this clip is from September 21st, 2023. Here's a clip of a viewer suggesting a book called Germany Must Perish by Theodor Kaufmann, a known piece of propaganda used by the Nazi Party in World War II Germany. He then goes on to say he likes the sound of that and thinks the title The International Jew is controversial. I think the title sounds like a spy movie similar to Austin Powers. It doesn't seem controversial to me. Something tells me he actually knows the anti-Semitic nature of the book, and that's what he really likes.
Should look into the Dead Sea Scrolls. I've looked into them like a long time ago, but I've never looked into them too much. I've never even read them or anything. I could do Deep or Die for sure. Another interesting book is Germany Must Perish by Theodor. That's interesting. Maybe Jordan Levitt would prefer that one. A little bit less controversial title. Are you Rigo? Did you get paid today? No, I didn't.
That is all the Rigo lore currently. Now we'll get into the core part of the video. This time we're going to cover a MMA YouTuber using a deceased child's tragic story for his own degenerate and monetary gains. The video I'm referring to is Top 10 Worst Fathers in the UFC by Rigo. Incredibly ironic title considering he doesn't sound like he's either able to riz, let alone be able to produce a child. And within the first 15 seconds of the video, he states this is normal behavior for him, which is alarming considering the little boy involved. He places Mohammad Usman at number 3 on his list of things he wish he could be, but is genetically too deficient to become. He goes on to say Mo Usman is one of the worst fathers in the UFC and one of the worst babysitters of all time.
We'll move on up to number 3. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but Mohammad Usman has to be obviously one of the worst fathers in the UFC and one of the worst babysitters in all of history. We'll jump right on up to number 2 now with Sean O'Malley.
To have such an opinion on how people parent their child seems very redundant to me without even clicking on the video. So I don't know why he is commenting on another person's ability to parent when he isn't capable of having his own kids. You shouldn't really comment on someone's parenting situation either when you don't know the full story. This is beyond disgusting for a few reasons. His hideous face is still in frame, and he brought up another man's son drowning in a pool to get a few dollars on YouTube and some social credit points online. For those of you who don't know, Mohammad Usman's son Nash tragically drowned in a swimming pool on July 22nd, 2019, and passed in the hospital 2 days later on July 24th, 2019. I'll link the article in the description below and read it off for you now. A 2-year-old boy died Monday, days after he was pulled from a pool in Arlington, officials say. Police were called about 7 p.m. Saturday to a possible drowning call in the 5600 block of Indian Hill Drive, near Green Oaks Boulevard. Officers arrived within minutes of the 911 call and began CPR, police said. The child was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead Monday. He was identified as Nash Mohammad Usman of Austin, according to the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office. It's unclear how long he was in the pool. Investigators are looking into the circumstances surrounding his death, but it appears to have been an accident, police said. This year, 59 children have drowned in Texas. Of those, 32 were in a backyard or community pool, according to the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. These horrific, tragic, and sad events are still fresh in Mohammad Usman's mind as well. After he won his tough contract on UFC over a year ago, he became overwhelmed with emotion and said he became the ultimate fighter for his son. I think that says a lot about the struggle he went through losing a child and becoming a top fighter in the top promotion. I'll play some audio of that over an image from the post-fight interview.
And we went to work, and we ended up here. And I'm so glad, and I'm so blessed, and I'm so grateful for my parents, my brother, my older brother Cash, everybody that supported me to this point, and I just can't wait to get back to work. I'm just so blessed, and just thank you, God. And this is from Nash, and thank you for being with me. And we did it. Daddy did it. We're in the show. Let's go.
Now that I've shown you a stuffed victory speech, I'll show you a speech on the Ultimate Fighter TV show.
I started fighting because of my son Nash. We had him in 2016. He passed away in 2019 from drowning, and he's the main reason that I fight. When I first had him, I just would look him in his eyes and I was like, your dad is not a normal person. I'm gonna show you that your dad is gifted and he's blessed.
As you can see, this is still in his mind every time he fights, and that's what motivates him.
You know, they tell you, like, you're not supposed to bury your kids. Your kids bury you. So it's the toughest thing I think I've ever had to do and deal with in my life. And I'm really dedicating this season to my son. Like I told you, your dad is not gonna be a failure. I know you're looking down on me from heaven. I'm gonna make you proud, and I'm gonna show you how far we've come.
I hope Mo Usman is able to heal from this and come back stronger as a fighter. It was very sad and pathetic to see this tragedy explode in a YouTube video. If this complete loser take isn't disgusting enough, his fans are in the comments here applauding and praising this type of behavior. He calls this 14-year-old incel cult Rigos, which is a play on the N-word, obviously. While some to their credit do express disgust, I'll go ahead and read some of these disgusting remarks from these animals that are openly dancing on a child's grave. First off, we have Revelocity, a low-quality Coomer channel dedicated to girls' butts. All his videos are for Coomers, besides some bad Adobe After Effects clips, congratulating the Goblin on hitting 9K subs. In case you aren't up to date on your internet slang, a Coomer is a person that can't stop masturbating or thinking about sex. Basically a sexual degenerate pervert. Second, we have Fulcum, another low-quality clips channel time-stamping the Mo Usman clip, with Rigo giving it a heart. If leeching off a fat ginger man from the UK and fighters from the UFC wasn't enough, he has to act like this over a deceased child. Third, we have an emo little peep fan that refuses to grow up. He gives Rigo a W, then the Goblin himself replies with a prayer emoji. Ironic coming from someone who claims to be a man of God, making jokes of another man's 2-year-old son passing. Fourth, we have a very immature fat man unironically drinking Bud Light, hoping the Gremlin's channel blows up. And the hook-nosed gremlin pokes out again with prayer emojis. So ironic coming from a man of God. I think it would be safe to assume he's LARPing as a man of God, so we can grift donations from gullible, progressive, quote, Christian, unquote, kids online. Fifth, we have a ghetto Packers fan that brags about how much weed he smokes and how hard his rap music is. Also bragging about this Canadian Goblin making light of the 2-year-old boy's passing, which reaffirms to me and should to you that his audience is made up of wannabe ghetto teenagers. Sixth, we have an anime nerd going through an identity crisis. He has Kodak Black in one playlist, then he has the Persona 5 soundtrack in another. For those of you who don't know, Persona 5 is a dating simulator / Japanese role-playing game. It's hardly a game and mostly a Coomer simulator for teenage boys that are afraid of speaking to girls. He is laughing with the skull emojis over the Mohammad Usman comment. Seventh, we have Friendless Norseman. Let's take a look at this mature adult's channel. He has a Predator profile picture, and he is subscribed to Roblox, PewDiePie, and Minecraft YouTubers. Good to know this type of mature MMA content is being produced for adults and not teenage boys. Saying this video is quote-unquote facts, like a child on Twitter. Eighth, another teenager with not many things to do after school, expressing his love for this evil. I've said many times before, kids don't even play video games these days. They just sit on YouTube, in the comments, and talk in live chats, thinking they have friends online. It's very sad. And these last few comments don't have channels I can show you. Kenny in the top left is a pay pig with his mom's credit card, and the other two are just losers. We can leave it there. I'll give some of these people credit for expressing concern, to a very little extent. I have suspected that his viewers are mainly teenage adolescent boys. I've tried reaching out to him and asking about the average viewer age in his analytics, to try and determine who may be watching his videos, but he has yet to reply. This is a heartbreaking tragedy and sad story. Hope it resonates with you like it does me. I can't imagine what it is like to lose a child, and in such a terrifying manner as drowning is. In my mind, this needed more attention because I don't think this type of behavior should be accepted in the MMA community. Bringing up someone's deceased child for cheap views and a couple dollars in ad revenue just to buy some extra jewel pods is beyond morally and ethically deprived. If any of you lost someone or a child to something as tragic as drowning, my heart goes out to you and I'll pray that you find peace. So MMA community, fighters, media members, I would like to ask you a question. Do we just sit back and allow this type of content to be produced? I'd like to ask a favor of you. Please share this short video where you can to bring more attention to this issue. I have a small group of friends already doing this with me. Even someone as notorious and controversial in our community like the MMA Guru, this avows talking down on the mentally disabled and children.
Did you guys see Rigo's last video when he mentioned Mo Usman? Speaking of deep end, that is a bit far. I didn't think he would go through with that.
This behavior is despotic, unacceptable, and needs to be addressed by anyone who cares about their children or the children of others. Any proceeds from this video will be donated to the charity School Lunch Fairy, a charity that raises funds to set up emergency lunch funds at public schools across the nation, so if a student does not have money that day, their funds pay for the meal.
You know, they tell you like you're not supposed to bury your kids. Your kids bury you. So it's the toughest thing I think I've ever had to do and deal with in my life. And I'm really dedicating this season to my son. Like I told you, your dad is not going to be a failure. I know you're looking down on me from heaven. I'm going to make you proud, and I'm going to show you how far we've come.